Hey everyone, welcome back to Code of the Row. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you what a data table in Unreal Engine 5 is. So data tables in Unreal Engine 5 are a powerful feature that allows developers to manage and organize structured data in a way that can easily be accessed and manipulated within the game. So it's a way to store structured data, typically in a tabular form, which can be used to drive game logic, UI elements, or other aspects of gameplay. They're particularly useful for managing large sets of data, such as characters, stats, item properties, and whatever configuration you really want to. So data tables allow for the storage of complex data structures in a format that's easy to read and manipulate. They can be created from your Excel sheets or CSV files or even JSON, making it easy to import data from external sources. They are also a row-based access, which just means that they can be identified by row names, providing an easy way to look for specific pieces of data, and they're also type safe. So this ensures that data conforms to a predefined structure, which helps reduce errors. So in order to actually create a data table, which we will do in Blueprints for now, and I'll have a C++ video coming up later, is head over to your content folder and I'll just create a new folder and I'll call this data tables and enter that folder or double click to open that folder. And we need to define a struct. So in your content folder, you're just going to right click and under the Blueprint tab, there is a structure. There's a tab called structure, which means struct. And I'll call this something like items struct. So just as an example, now I'm just going to double click to open this up. And in our struct, we can actually define our properties and values. So I'll just, let's call this name, and this will be a type string. And I'll just add another variable for, let's say, the description. And I'll add another variable for the static mesh. And this will actually just be an actor reference of an object reference of an actor. And let's just do can pick up, and this will be a Boolean type, and so on. And you can really add whatever variables you want into the structure. And now if you click on default values, you'll see exactly what you see in the data table and how to define them. And after that's defined, we can just go back to the content. I'll hit save. We can go back to the content browser, right click, and actually create our data table. So I'll right click and go to the miscellaneous tab. And there is one called data table, not composite data table. We'll go over that in another video, just a regular data table. So click on that and we're going to select our struct, which is going to be our item struct. So I'll just look for that item struct and click on it and hit OK. And I'll just call this items underscore DT. And now when I double click to open this up, we can start adding items, and you can already see that the variable are named at the top here, kind of like an Excel format. So I'll just expand the rows a little bit, or the column header names, so that we can see them properly. And I'll click add. And now you'll see the item over here in our new row. It looks exactly how our default values look in our struct. And as soon as we add something in here, it'll all show up here too, and under our default values to give us a preview of what it looks like. So for example, if I just set my default name as something like default and hit save, then you'll see that it pops up in every single row that I create here that the name at start will be default. But I don't want anything in there, and I'm going to make can pickup be false just to undo it for all of them. So let's just add a few. So I'll call this like a cube, large cube in the map as a description, and the static mesh I want to select an actor. And now when we get over to our static mesh, you're going to see when I highlight over it, it says editing this value in a structure's default is not allowed. And this is one of Unreal Engine's limitations because of the way it handles certain types of references, particularly actor references and data tables, because data tables are designed to store plain data that can be easily serialized and deserialized. So, however, object references such as references to actors in the game world are more complex and involve runtime specific data that can't easily be stored or manipulated in the same way as simpler data types like integers. So a lot of frameworks that I use, for example, in this case, we don't actually reference the actor itself, but we do use a class reference because technically, a lot of times, what a lot of frameworks do, at least in Ascent Combat Framework, which is one that I use quite often, is we reference the the referenced part that has all the data to it and not the actual object itself. So, for example, like when we have items in, we used to have items in a data table in Ascent Combat Framework. And when you equip it, it spawns into the world and it gets the actual actor from the reference itself. But when you put it back in your inventory and you're not using it and it's not visible in your character, it's despawned from the world and just stored as a row in the data table just for optimization performances and because it is a fully replicated system. So in my struct, I've just changed this to a class reference. You can also do a soft object reference, that totally works, and soft class reference, just not object reference because of the way data tables are structured. If you're specifically looking to have an object reference, such as maybe some monsters that will have different stats and spawn into the world, then data tables aren't really what you need. You actually need the data assets. And that is in a previous video that I've already done. I can link it in the description below, or you can find it in Discord. So moving on, I'll just click on my row and I can select, let's just say for the class reference, I'm just going to reference an actor and we'll say we can pick this up. And for the row name, I can just double click to change the name or highlight over it by clicking on it and hit F2 on my keyboard. And I'll call this cube, for example. And I'll call this one sphere and do the same thing. So I'll just name this as sphere. This is a sphere for the description. And the static mesh actor reference will also be actor and can pick up. Let's do false for this one. So I'll actually go back in my struct and change this to static mesh reference, just so we know that not actually the static mesh we're getting. And I'll go to my data table and hit save. So let's go make an example. This is not going to be a valid example because we're going to be putting it into our player character. But of course, this is just for example purposes and learning. So I'm going to go over to my third person map and click on my default pawn class to go over to my third person BP. And now I'm actually just going to create a new function called randomize name. And now from here, for example, I can call something like get data table row names. And from out row names, I'm just going to look for a random array item. And then I'll just add another node called get data table row over here under utilities. And now we want to call that data table that we created. So for the table, I'm going to select that items DT and over here too. And I'll just plug this in. And now I can just take this out row and break the item struct. And this is going to give me all the results. So for example, these are exactly what we have in our struct. So we have name, description, static mesh reference, and can pick up, just like when we break it here. So I'll just print this out. I'll just grab a print string and connect the name. And I can also do something like the description, and then another one for the static mesh reference, and another one for the can pick up. So this is going to look a little messy, but it's okay. And now for this function called randomize name, I'm going to go over to my BP third person. So down here, I'll just add a debug key L, and then we will call randomize name, just like that. So every time I hit L on my keyboard, we'll call that random name. So when I hit F11, there's only really two to pick from. So on the top left, you'll see true, actor, large, cube in the map, and cube. And it looks like it's printing backwards just because the first thing it prints is actually on the very bottom. And that's a very simple introduction to data tables. Thanks for watching. Code with Ro. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.